We are clicking today, baby. We are clicking today. All right. Now I got the chat popped out so I can actually see what's going on. So if I have any remainders, if I have any more channel royalty out there that wants to pop in and offer your 2 cents, the topic of this video is, can Microsoft and Xbox own the next gen? Let's spark a little controversy, shall we? Yeah! All right, so I closed the door. We're alone now. I have a sunbeam gracing my head like providence from heaven. The soundtrack to Road Rash is playing, I believe. Something is playing in the background. I hope it's not distracting. I hope it's enhancing. I hope it enhances your experience. So I have a little bit of a verklempt going on. Okay. The next video, a little preview. The next video is going to be what's on the gaming table, baby. Oh, yeah. So, can Xbox, there's a lot I want to say in a very short period of time. So, can Xbox own this generation? The short answer is yes, but it is also no. As usual, it is not a black and white comparison. Okay. I noticed that you do have the kind of the black and white motif going on between these two heavy hitters. Now, Xbox dismally launched this system. The first half of this system's life was trash. It was launched poorly. You know, there was all kinds of restrictions. There was also all kinds of controversy with loot boxes and just it was just a mess. It was just a train wreck. And you know, Sony quietly just absolutely dominated this last generation from beginning to end. I mean, they had one of the most successful gaming generations I've ever seen. I mean, they dominated, they owned, they totally destroyed. Now, I don't agree in terms of like the PS3, Xbox 360. So like the original Xbox when they launched, again, they basically just, you know, Xbox took everything from the Dreamcast, created a console, launched into the market. The thing is an absolute brick. I mean, it is just huge and ponderous and it's just a monster. It's a great system. It was, you know, technically more advanced than the PS2. And it's still one of my favorite gaming consoles of all time. And I think you know, Microsoft threw a lot of money at it, and we got to enjoy a lot of really cool games. Some of the best versions ever, some exclusives, and you know, just some really, really good gaming on the Xbox, the original Xbox. And the PS2 just utterly dominated. Actually the best selling console of all time. So, I believe if you ask me between the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation, the Xbox 360 won that one. You know, they won the last generation. Microsoft won with the Xbox 360, and if it wasn't for the hardware issues, again, they are a software company, they are not a hardware company. You know, they didn't have like their, you know, again, they they had to, you know, again, that's just not their wheelhouse. They had to have other people build it. And again, if you're not crafting it, if it's not an in-house thing necessarily for you, just like the Zune, Microsoft lost their ass to Apple. Again, now is Zune crap? No, but it's just it wasn't their wheelhouse. So they tried to step into a market that wasn't their wheelhouse. Now they have 1, 2, and now 3 generations. And this last generation, they really screwed the pooch. They got Phil in there, who single-handedly retrieved that brand from the dustbin of history. Normally, with a launch like that and the units sold, most companies, if they didn't have Microsoft's resources from other streams of revenue, would have been decimated. They would have stepped away from that business. They would have stepped away. That Gamer, they've screwed up since 2010, aka Project Natalie? Is that what it is? Project Natalie? Well, I got to tell you, I don't think they screwed up with the original Xbox. That was their very first offering, and I think it was a good... I mean, they're also a beast. I mean, like every Xbox I've ever owned, none of them have ever like gone bad. I mean, Kinect. Oh, yeah, Project Kinect. Kinect was a shit show. I mean, it was a complete shit show. And the PlayStation Move, honestly, I love a lot of the Move stuff, the light gun stuff. To me, I like it better than the Wii, right? But it's like Kinect was a shit show. It was like government surveillance. It was just terrible. Nobody cared, and they could have dropped the price point by over $100. I mean, that was one of the things that people were bitching about. 500 plus OG Xbox games, an all complete in box, and 200 360 game all complete in box. I love the Xbox pre-fill. Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's a swing. Let me see. Dude, I own 500 plus OG Xbox games. Let me see how many I've got. Wait a minute. Gothic PC is talking to me right now. I just got a comment from Gothic PC about Fallout 76. I mean, dude, where are you misfired? Well, yes, I'm fine. Fallout 7 is basically the Starbucks of the gaming world minus any sugar. I personally do not care for Starbucks. I never have. I think their coffee is garbage. If it is not absolutely just a conveyance for freaking sugar, I mean, the only thing that comes out good out of Starbucks is freaking sugar, bro. Phil isn't good for Xbox. No? Oh my God. Okay, well tell me why. I want to hear that. I love your opinions, bro. You're controversial, man. You throw in and you take unlikely positions. Like that surprises me. But I like that. I'm like, wow, this guy's thinking on another tier. He's thinking on another level, bro. Where do you come from with Phil? Why is Phil the bad guy? I'm gonna see if I can find a seat for myself. Wow, look at me down here. This is great. Should I just like move that? Just move the lectern. Let's just move the lectern. There you go. Wow. Okay. Let's do this now. Let's do this version of the fancy action now. This is like at the tiki bar fancy action now. So let me get the chat back up. Oh, hell no. Okay. Yeah, Game Pass. You're more of a PC gamer now. I'm kind of, PC is very flexible, especially if you're YouTube. It really is. Like a lot of times, I spend a lot of time like hooking up consoles and moving wires and shit around, and I'm like, Jesus, man, I could just like, if I was on PC or if I was on an emulator, it would be so much easier than all this moving stuff around all the time. Well, the thing of it is that Game Pass is the value. Game Pass, and I think that's where they're going for, because they're just let's see. What is this now? India has an appointment. Okay, well, let's see. Oh, okay, that's fine. So, yeah, man. I mean, I think that's what they're going for. They're trying to dominate in the software realm versus the hardware realm. So now they've got it down so where they can just provide a system that is going to give you a platform for their software, and that's it. They were trying to be a gaming company for a long time, and now I think they're just navigating over. So for me, what diminishes the brand and what they used to be to me as an original fan from 2001, well, I can see where you're coming from, and the really, again, the line between PC and console is getting blurrier by the day. I mean, by the generation, it gets blurrier and blurrier over what's a console and what's a low-end gaming PC. And I'm hearing tons of commentary from people that are like, look, it's like a low-end gaming PC, essentially. You're not going to have the latest or the most ultimate hardware. They've got to dumb it down to a certain point as far as the specs go to get it, to get it everywhere at that level. Again, so it's like, and now you can like have apps and email and Amazon and all the crap on these consoles now. So it really is, it's kind of like a web TV, with gaming, with serious gaming on it, But I mean, PC to me, and people don't want to hear this, it's like, PC master race and snobbery, but PC has always led the way as far as like tech and quality and fidelity, and I mean that is the edge. And again, you have to build yourself a PC, or you have to get into like $2,000 to $5,000. And the average Joe isn't doing that. That's what the console space is. Let's see. It's similar to being a Wii U owner day one. I saw that. I was watching one of your videos with your Wii U collection. You've got a complete Wii U collection. And that thing is going to be worth crazy money at some point, bro. I got to tell you. Oh, yeah. I mean, come on, man. Really? I mean, that's why I continue to keep a gaming laptop. Because, there's just shit that comes out. Some stuff you just can't even get on console. Or you're playing a hackneyed version of it, and you're like, oh, let me play the PC, All right, let me check. I'm currently at 2,234 total titles. And my OG Xbox is at 285 titles. And you're at, because again, it's only, I think it's 998 titles or 997 total titles. So, I'm over 25% there. You're a third there. Yeah, you got you got 500 titles. I mean, you're more than halfway there for the complete collection, bro. And 200 360 games. Now, I don't know if all mine are complete. I'm pretty sure I'm missing some manuals here and there. My 360 is 319. 319 Xbox 360. I really like that Xbox 360 collection because of the gaming. The gaming got really good as far as the visuals in that gen. So it's like, there are games that are to me equivalent to this generation on the 360. And I mean, again, they share games too. So I look at my 360 collection as just like this treasure trove of gaming, But what I would say is, on the topic, what I think is the Xbox with the studio acquisitions, the triple B gaming position that they're kind of taking. They've got the xCloud situation, which they're dominating over Stadia. That's like a console free gaming service, right? So again, if they're addressing all the demographics because xCloud is going to be available via mobile, right? Let me see. Let me go back down here. Wait a minute. It's 843? Wait a minute. I missed some stuff, bro. Hold on a minute. Yeah. Could have been used for so much more. 843 NTSC. Yeah, man. Yeah. And most of the 360, the best is just held for review. Show it, baby. I don't care what it says. It's a pussy move. YouTube blocked that video gamer. They didn't like that pussy word. I like a nice soft pussy every now and again. Oh, come on. Meow. Okay, stop. Astro. ALC, baby. I remember in 2005, blown away. Right. Real HD. Yup. See, and you know what, ALC, is that a lot of that stuff still looks great. Like, I can go back to the 360. Less, like, I have more PlayStation 3 titles, believe it or not, because they were out there for a long time while I was collecting. So I just acquired a bunch of them. But technically, I typically go for Xbox 360, and there are so many choice titles out there. It's just like they all look great. They play great. You know, they're a lot of times, you know, they're not greedy. There's, you know, well, that was before they started to get stupid with like microtransactions and all kinds of stuff. That was the last generation before things got really ridiculous and mercenary, you know. And Phil always saying he's proud of the other studios. It's just weird to me. He's playing the game. He's a politician. You know, he doesn't want to, you know, again, he's a corporate exec. He wants to be like, just, you know, we love our competitors and everything. And then he goes in the boardroom and goes, how do we eviscerate their brand? Yes, I agree. 05, 06. Yes, those were the days, baby. And I'm still living in that day. I'm still living in that gaming day a lot of times. So here's the thing. And classic modern gaming put it very well in the last one, where he said you've got, you know, he didn't say xCloud. I'm saying xCloud. You got xCloud, which is doing way better than Stadia. It's accessible via mobile platforms or on your PC, xCloud on your PC. Or on your console. So awesome. Then you have Game Pass, which is an outrageous success. I'm sorry, it is. It's a great value. It's an outrageous success. And then you have all of these new studios that are putting out triple B games for the platform, and they can crank those out with these little studios and, you know, relatively lower cost than AAA. AAAs are going to come out for multi-plats anyway. But, you know, they can have exclusive games, niche markets, and just generate titles themselves. You know, if there's a drought, they can just have they can have stuff waiting in the wings. So they can, because there's different periods of time on development cycles where game systems don't have anything to give you. And now between Game Pass, xCloud, and their own development studios, generating things on a routine schedule that aren't necessarily AAA, that have a 2, 3, 4, 5 year horizon, that have like a year to a year and a half horizon, they can actually slate things and schedule things to have a constant stream of new titles rolling out. And I personally think with the lessons learned from this generation, with their strength in UI and software delivery, they are absolutely capable of, I'm not going to say dominating, okay? Let's see. Astrolive, also Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter was amazing. Yes. I just played, you know what I just played? I just played Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And I thought it was pretty good. But some of those Call of Duties on 360 are just really good. Really good. You know, Ghost Recon. All of those games look amazing. They still look great. Dude, Oblivion, Gears, Halo 3, Forza, BioShock, Mass Effects. Yeah! Yes. The releases, the quality releases of that generation were amazing. Ghost Recon 2, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, yep. Rainbox. I like it. Rainbox 6 Vegas 1 and 2 came out. Man, devs used to take chances. Now it's just same crap. Yeah, I'm hearing that a lot. I'm hearing that a lot from YouTubers right now. Splinter Cell? Yeah, Splinter Cell has just been like abandonware. But anyway, so do I think Xbox Series X or their next offering is going to dominate the industry? No. Do I think they will actually be a worthy competitor to Sony in their own market? Yes. And I'm talking about Europe and the United States. For the West, mainly Xbox has sales in the West. Their Eastern sales, China, Japan, are just trash garbage. They do not generate a whole lot of units overseas. They, except for the Western, like Australia, PAL regions, and the United States. NTSC, PAL, I think they will be worthy. I think they sold around 50 million units of the Xbox One, which is like Dreamcast numbers. It's not that. It was like the original Xbox sold about that many units. It's like under 100 million units. It's okay. It's going to keep you afloat. It's going to generate revenue. But I think that I'm going to go out on a limb here. I want you all to recognize this. I want you to all prick your fingers, get a drop of blood, and burn it in a candle. I'm going to say I think Xbox Series X is going to sell much better than the Xbox One. And I think that it may get to 100 million units. So I think they will hit 100 million units. I think they are going to double their market penetration is basically what I'm saying. I think this generation, lessons learned, exclusive titles, a huge amount of really high quality studios, and some little studios that just put out some niche stuff as well. xCloud, Game Pass, backward compatibility. I think all of these factors are going to coalesce into a very good generation. So there is my 2 cents on, will Xbox own the next gen? No. Sony is too much of a dominant player. They have too much of a loyal fan base, which coming off of the 360, Xbox really undermined that goodwill. Maybe by design, maybe to allow Sony to dominate. But they really learned some lessons. Let's see what we're working on in the comments. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, expecting Xbox to turn units in Japan is just a waste of time. It's like Ford trucks in Japan. Do you think Japan has a lot of Ford trucks? No, they're equal to us in their economic prowess. They have their own truck brands. They buy their own trucks. It's like they don't. I mean, sure, you can buy one in Japan. I'm sure it's like, $500,000, it's $250,000 to get a Ford F-150 in Japan. But, it's like, come on, man. You're just not going to dominate unless Xbox was the only game system in town. I mean, Japan is the world leader in video games and video game development and et cetera, et cetera. They are the leader. We trail them. We're number 2, I mean, in game development, we're very close, but, just in general, video game, everything, Japan dominates. That Game Collector had some scandalous thing to say. Sony always just flexed hard as fuck and trademarked. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, man. They do flex. They know they're dominant. They play hard ball too, baby. They don't play. OG was 24 million. GameCube was 22, and PS2 was like 155. I think Dreamcast. Well, let me wiki it because this is. I should have had this up. Game consoles units sold. Video game console units sold. List of best-selling video game consoles. Okay, here's the straight dope. I just looked it up. Every single Sony video game system has sold over 100 million units. 100 million units. They've always broken 100 million units. Even with the original PlayStation, it sold over 100 million units. The PlayStation 4... Let me just go back. PlayStation 4 has sold 110 units. 110 million units. Now, ironically, the Xbox 360 sold 86 million units. That is their most popular console, and they still did not break 100 million units. They did not break 100 million units with the Xbox 360, which is amazing to me. Now, the Xbox One has sold 50 million units. Yeah. I mean, they So, the Xbox One has sold 50 million units. That is a third. Well, it's half. It's essentially half of PlayStation 4. Well, I don't know if they're counting all those. Are they counting that as units sold because of the red ring? Because that was a $1 billion problem for Xbox. That was brutal, man. Now, just keep in mind, because the market has grown, the Sega Genesis sold 35 million units. So the Xbox One has actually outsold the Genesis in terms of units. If you can believe that. But it was a smaller market then. See, we're going into the largest video game market of all time. I owed 3 brand new 360s. You just kept buying them, man. It's like, hey, I got the games. I mean, I'm like that now. I have like 3 360s. Now, the Dreamcast sold a little over 9 million units. 9 million units. And the Sony PlayStation 2 sold 155 million. All because of that DVD player, baby. All because that was the VCR of that era, was that Sony PlayStation 2. I mean, think about that. 155 million to 9. Ouch, Sega. Ouch. That is handed to. So you got to remember, the Dreamcast sold 9 million units. The Xbox One or the Sega Genesis sold like 30 some million units. The Xbox One sold 50 million units. The Xbox 360 sold 86 million units. So Microsoft now says they don't care how many they sell. To an extent, some think they are crazy. They're going to own route like Nintendo. Right, they are. You know, they're leveraging Game Pass. They're going into hardcore game development. You got to remember, Microsoft was never a game developer. I mean, they had Microsoft Studios, but you know, mainly the games that they put out were just for everybody else. You know, they just had a platform on the 360. Now they're going into their own development, right? So, well, you know what I would say? I would say this is going to be their most relevant generation. This generation, in their own market, in the PAL and NTSC, I believe Microsoft, here I am, I'm coming out and saying it. Somebody's got to buy me a copy of LA Machine Guns if I'm right. They are going to break 100 million units this generation. Boom, I'm done. I said it. That's it. End of video. 100 million units of the Xbox in total, of all units, whether it's the digital only, all units of Xbox consoles, the next gen, they will crack 100 million units. I'm going out there with it. They are in the best position they have ever been in terms of preparation and software platforms. Like I said, xCloud, Game Pass, backward compatibility on all generations. They are going to double down on all of these services, these software services that they have. And you're going to be able to play it on your Xbox. You're going to be able to play it on your phone. You're going to be able to play it on your pad. They are going to do what Stadia could not do. You can get xCloud, and they'll probably work it out so you just get a controller. I guarantee you something's coming out like that. They'll have a stick. There are so many potential ways that they can generate revenue this way. They're going to do what the Vita couldn't do. The Vita was a nice try. Again, going up against Sony or going up against Nintendo. Good luck. Again, Nintendo owns the portable space, and Sony owns the hardware space. And I think Microsoft is going to own the software space. They're leveraging. See, buying all those studios and developing all those games leverages their strength, which is software development. That's what they are. Microsoft is a software developer. So they have now set themselves up for success. So you'll shut down your channel. We don't want that. If they even break 80 million, it's not going to happen. Okay, Dat Game Collector. I want to do a bet with you, bro. And again, we won't be able to tally that bet for some time. Let's see, show. Let's see what he says. Screenshot that shit. Screenshot that shit. I'm not going to, because I won't forget that comment. I'm not going to forget that shit. But I'll tell you what. I will buy a game. Again, if they hit over total units, all systems, whether it's takes a disc, doesn't take a disc, all hardware units, all game systems, whatever you want to call it, for the Xbox, the next gen, if they break over 100 million units, what? No, what? Xbox Series consoles. Yeah, I'm talking both units. Like they have a Lockhart, which is a digital only one, and then they have one that takes a disc, and they're going to have, they're going to have another discless Series S and X. Yes. I'm talking all consoles, all physical consoles. I'm not even going to say xCloud or any of that. I'm just going to say physical consoles. This is a safe bet, bro. I'm not trying to swerve you. Okay, I'm not trying to swerve you. All physical consoles. If you're right, and again, we have to come back in quite a bit of time, but as soon as it hits within the generation, if it hits 100 million units, you owe me a game $50 or less. And I will buy you a game $50 or less if they do not break 80 mil. Are you down with those terms? Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be 6 years if they hit it. If they sell 81 million units, don't forget Sony is getting help from MS by the way of Azure servers. What kind of shit kickback will they get from that? Got it? Oh, come on, bro. Come on, bro. They're holding hands way more than you think they are, baby. It's a very small neighborhood. All right. You taking the bet? You taking the bet? I'm going to roll the terms out one more time. If they sell over 80 million units, whichever comes first. Okay, whatever, bro. If they sell 80 million units, see, okay, a bet is locked in. Okay, all right. I'll buy you a game. You pick it, $50 or less. And if they sell over 80 million units, it could be hell, bro. There's 3 billion gamers now. So they could sell if they break 80 million in they might do it in a couple of years. You never know. You're going to be around, so am I. Come on. All right. So that's kind of my rant on Xbox. I actually think they have the potential to have the best generation they've ever had this particular generation, and I think they can possibly not own the entire market because they can't, but they can actually own the domestic market and sell 100 million units. I believe so. I totally believe that. We absolutely can. We're gonna see where things go, man. We're gonna see where things go, and Sony will dominate. They will come out and dominate, but I think ultimately Xbox is going to have a really good generation that's actually going to surpass the Xbox 360. That's what I'm saying, is that like they are going to have a generation that will surpass the 360 this time. So that's my rant. That's my vote. That's what I think is going to happen coming forth. Stay tuned. I'm going to do. Would you? I know that's how I see. I'm not flying anybody's flag, bro. I'm like, I want the gaming industry to be healthy, competitive, and to the gamers' benefit, not necessarily to one camp or the other. But I've always been an Xbox fan. I have massive Xbox collections. I play all of the generations on Xbox to this day. You know it. You see it. But I'll tell you what. I'm just salty they sucked out. I'm a little salty too, bro. I was very salty on Xbox One. I was like, fuck that. I was excited about Xbox One originally. And they just threw water on that shit, bro. I was just like, I went out and got a PlayStation, and I played that for years before I even looked at an Xbox One. I found a really good deal on a Halo Collector's Edition on Amazon refurbished or Amazon Warehouse. Somebody just opened it and returned it, and it was like literally half price. It was a 1 terabyte, and I snagged that. Yeah. See, that's a big thing. 790 versus 1080. And now we're going into the next gen, and they're saying, well, it's not going to be, most games aren't going to be 4K. Most games are going to be 1080. And, it's like, okay, well, that's how it always is. It's always like God's gift, and then it comes out, and you're just like, oh, okay. Let's see. Even the Wii U was hitting 1080. Yeah, the Wii U is actually has a very nice fidelity. I'm actually surprised. The quality of that console it's in there. It is. CMG. Wish Nintendo would get serious competitive with a big boy console. Never. They don't want to play in that space. That's not where they dominate, First original Xbox One was lackluster. Then with the Xbox S and the Xbox One release, Xbox got a lot. They did. Really? I got my kid a Switch Lite, but I don't see myself ever picking up a Switch, bro. I probably will. Like I say, I'll run into a deal at some point, but it's just like, it's not freaking blowing me away. The next video, if y'all want to hang out, the next video, I'm going to do 3 today. The next video is what's on my table, what I've just got, what I've been playing, what do I intend to play, etc., etc. It's kind of a backlog video, but it's really like what's on my table right now. And I will see you all back very soon. Peace out.